Welcome to Nippon Tribe. Today we journey into the age when warriors first seized the destiny of this nation, the turbulent 150 years known as the Kamakura period. Our story begins in 1185. As the aristocratic politics of Kyoto faltered, a new power rose from the rough winds of Suruga and Sagami. That man was Minamoto no Yoritomo. After defeating the Taira at the Battle of Dan-no-ura and becoming Sei Taishogun, he chose not the imperial capital, but a remote corner of the east, Kamakura, to establish Japan's first samurai government. But from the moment this new regime was born, it was consumed by the flames of political struggle. After Yoritomo's death, those who stood at the center of power were Hōjō Masako, remembered as the Nun Shogun, and her father, Hōjō Tokimasa. Young shoguns were swallowed one after another by political intrigue. The fall of the Hiki clan, the Council of 13, the Kamakura Shogunate advanced, reshaped by blood and strategy. Then came the greatest clash of all, the Jōkyū War, launched by Emperor Go-Toba to crush the Hōjō. Its result, in only 1 month, a decisive victory for the shogunate. The emperor was exiled, the authority of the court shattered, and the samurai government gained unshakable power. But the storm was far from over. Across the sea, the most powerful empire of Eurasia, the Mongol Empire, continued its expansion. Kublai Khan demanded Japan's submission, and thus began the Mongol Invasions. Japan's first true experience of foreign invasion. Deafening explosions that no sword could stop, gunpowder bombs, and overwhelming cavalry tactics. Yet Japan endured through the desperate struggle of its warriors and the legendary kamikaze, the divine wind. Ironically, this victory shortened the life of the shogunate itself. There is no land left for rewards. Samurai who had fought bitterly grew frustrated, and into this turmoil stepped Emperor Go-Daigo. Evading the shogunate's surveillance, he declared its overthrow. Then Ashikaga Takauji, one of the shogunate's most powerful generals, betrayed them. Rokuhara fell. Nitta Yoshisada stormed into Kamakura, and the Kamakura Shogunate collapsed. The 150-year rule of the samurai ended quietly. Yet what this era left behind was anything but small. The powerful Buddhist sculptures of Unkei and Kaikei, the rise of new Buddhist movements led by Nichiren, Honen, and Shinran, the tale of the Heike, preserved by the voices of blind Biwa monks, and the stoic, disciplined spirit of the samurai. This is the story of how Japan transformed into a nation of warriors. Today, we confront one of the most misunderstood events in Japanese history, the truth behind the kamikaze and the Mongol invasions. For generations, students were taught a simple story. A great storm destroyed the Mongol fleet and saved Japan. But modern research reveals a very different reality. Our stage is set in 1274, during the first invasion, the Battle of Bunei. Most people believe the Mongols vanished overnight in a storm. Yet, nowhere in contemporary records does it say the fleet was destroyed by a typhoon. The Hachiman Gudokun describes warriors in white garments appearing in the night, striking fear into the Mongols. But this is now seen as religious embellishment. Another diary, the Kanshuki, says, driven back by contrary winds, it was divine protection. Yet the season was winter, not typhoon season. Researchers began to realize something. The Mongols may not have been destroyed by a storm. They may have chosen to retreat. 1 year after the Mongols clashed with the Ainu in Hokkaido, in 1268, a formal letter from the Yuan Empire arrived at Dazaifu, the diplomatic and defensive center of Japan. The Kamakura Shogunate, however, refused to engage in diplomacy and chose not to respond. Instead, they began strengthening Japan's military defenses. This moment marked the beginning of a tense standoff between Japan and the expanding Mongol Empire, a standoff that would eventually erupt into the invasions known as the Mongol attacks, the battles of Bune and Koan. Their goal was not to conquer Japan, it was a show of force, an intimidation campaign. Having demonstrated their strength, facing shortages of supplies in the coming cold, they may have judged that continuing the fight was unnecessary. 7 years later, in 1281, the second invasion, the Battle of Koan, the Mongols returned with one of the largest fleets in world history. But what awaited them was no miracle. It was the relentless resistance of Japan's warriors and even the Ainu people who took part in the defense. In Takezaki Suenaga's Moko Shurai e Kotoba, we see gunpowder bombs exploding, samurai charging while drenched in blood, headless Mongol soldiers, a hellish battle captured in vivid detail. Yes, a storm did come, but the Mongols did not retreat because of the storm. Supply shortages, collapsing morale. A divided coalition of Yuan, Goryeo, and former Song troops, and above all, Japan's relentless counterattacks. In Hakata Bay, Shika Island, and off the shores of Takashima, samurai fought desperately with bow and blade. The Mongols, unable to secure a decisive victory, struggled on. As the Japanese side gradually gained the upper hand, the Mongols reached their limit. The true reason for their withdrawal was not the divine wind. It was the fierce resistance of Japan's warriors. Even Japanese history textbooks are now changing. The failure of the Mongol invasions was due to the bravery of the samurai, the chance occurrence of storms, and the resistance of Goryeo and the Southern Song. For centuries, we believed in a myth, but the truth is far more human and far more powerful. Takezaki Suenaga, a samurai who recorded his own battles. In his scrolls, what we see is not a miracle, but a desperate, grinding fight for survival. What I want our international viewers to understand is the samurai worldview of the Kamakura era. These were warrior farmers. They fought on their own horses, wore their own armor, and risked their lives to defend their own land. Japan was not unified under a centralized state. It was defended by a network of samurai. Meanwhile, the Mongol forces included Korean soldiers, Southern Song sailors, people conscripted from across the empire. Their morale was nothing like that of the Japanese defenders. This is the real story of the Mongol invasions. Not a miracle, but the power of human grit. Samurai loyalty. The unity of Kamakura society. The internal contradictions of the Mongol Empire. A story far more human, far more dramatic, and far more inspiring than the legend of the divine wind. This is the true Mongol invasion, not a tale of miracles, but a tale of courage. I hope today's journey helps you discover a new side of Japanese history. And next time, we'll bring you another story of Japan you've never heard before. This is Nippon Tribe. See you in the next journey.